Concentration is the secret of success in every undertaking. Without concentration, thoughts, energy, inspiration, purpose, all one's inner forces become scattered. Concentration is the calm focus of one's full attention on the purpose at hand. Concentration means more than mental effort. It means channeling your heart's feelings, your faith, and your deep aspirations into whatever you are doing. In that way, even the little things in life can become rich with meaning. Concentration should not involve mental strain. When you really want something, it is difficult not to think about it. Concentrate with interest on whatever you do, and you will find yourself absorbed in it. Please affirm with me. With a lot of energy at the point between the eyebrows. Whatever I do in life, I give it my full attention. Like a laser beam. I burn from before me all problems. All obstructions. Whatever I do in life, I give it my full attention. Like a laser beam. I burn from before me all problems. All obstructions. A little more quietly with deeper concentration. You can close your eyes. Whatever I do in life, I give it my full attention. Like a laser beam, I burn from before me all problems, all obstructions. And now, very quietly, whatever I do in life, I give it my full attention. Like a laser beam, I burn from before me all problems, all obstructions. And now in a whisper, whatever I do in life, I give it my full attention. Like a laser beam, I burn from before me all problems, all obstructions. And now silently concentrating deeply at the spiritual eye. Whatever I do in life, I give it my full attention. Like a laser beam, I burn from before me all problems, all obstructions. Whatever I do in life, I give it my full attention. Like a laser beam, I burn from before me all problems, all obstructions. And please pray silently with me. Help me to see thee, Lord, as the scriptures describe thee, the most relishable. Help me to concentrate on thee, my gaze, my love, my aspirations, my entire being. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Amen. Now this is a reading from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Gita in the Bible written by Swami Kriyananda. This morning's topic is called The Redeeming Light. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. The book of Isaiah in the Bible, chapter 9, tells us, "The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shined." What is this light, of which so many scriptures speak? In Autobiography of a Yogi, by Paramahansa Yogananda, we read of an early experience the Master had with that light. "I was blessed about the age of 8 with the wonderful healing through the photograph of Lahiri Mahashaya. This experience gave intensification to my divine love. While at our family estate in Ichapur, Bengal, I was stricken with Asiatic cholera. My life was despaired of. The doctors could do nothing. At my bedside, Mother frantically motioned me to look at Lahiri Mahashaya's picture on the wall above my head. Bow to him mentally. She knew I was too feeble even to lift my hands in salutation. If you really show your devotion and inwardly kneel before him, your life will be spared. I gazed at his photograph and saw there a blinding light enveloping my body and the entire room. My nausea and other uncontrollable symptoms disappeared. I was well. At once, I felt strong enough to bend over and touch Mother's feet in appreciation of her immeasurable faith in her guru. Mother pressed her head repeatedly against the little picture. O omnipresent Master, I thank thee that thy light hath healed my son. I realized that she too had witnessed a luminous blaze through which I had instantly recovered from a usually fatal disease. Where my light is, God once told a saint, whom the divine light had healed, no darkness can dwell. The divine light, pure, calm, liberating, is the only final cure for every kind of delusion, ill health, emotional grief, and spiritual ignorance. As the Bhagavad Gita says in the 5th chapter, for whom that darkness of the soul is chased by light, splendid and clear shines manifest the truth, as if a sun of wisdom sprang to shed its beams of light. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
Good morning. It's our joy to be here with you this morning. The reading is from Whispers from Eternity by Paramahansa Yogananda, entitled, Demand to be Fed with the Cosmic Rays. I entered my temple of silence. Seated with a straight spine, I switched off the dazzling, diverting light of energy, animating my sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. I commanded my breath to cease its cleansing work in the body and make no noise. I ordered my heart to suspend its dictatorship over my myriad body cells, forcing them to eat the blood it sends them. I sat still and listened. Then, Mother, I heard the soft approach of thy footsteps. Thou didst come, bearing an overflowing chalice of life-sustaining spiritual rays. Sustain me evermore, O Divine Mother, with thy rays of life-giving light. The heart, cells, brains, and thoughts of this body, thy body, not mine, will waste no longer with decay. Lo, they are now immortal with thy everlasting life. Many years ago, we went on tour up to Reno, which is north of our village in Northern California, by just a few hours in the state of Nevada. And I was new. There were about 25 of us that went. And Swami was going to be promoting, I'm not sure if it was a book or what it was, I forget now. But it was something so unique, because for myself and so many, we just hadn't been on a campaign. Yogananda used to talk about his campaigns in the 20s and 30s, where he would fill the largest halls in the land. So this was our taste of a campaign. And so, incredibly, we were staying in a 2-bedroom house. And that's 25 people in a 2-bedroom house. What do you do with that? Again, I don't remember, but we were all harmonious and with one bathroom and so forth. And we had all of these promotional things that we needed to do. And we were up real early meditating and off to a radio program and a television program and, of course, a public lecture with Swami Kriyananda. And the promotions in those early years were very primitive, and such that we were proud of the signs that we had made, handmade, that we posted around on telephone poles. Kriyananda is coming. That was it. And I don't know what other promotions we did, but I thought, Kriyananda is coming. I wonder if some fine day in the future, because we love to ask, how did you get to Ananda? And they'll say, well, you won't believe this, but years ago in Reno, I saw on a telephone pole, Kriyananda is coming. and I didn't know what it was. And many, many years passed, and finally I Googled Kriyananda, and there he was, direct disciple of Yogananda, and so I began to explore these teachings. Well, during this time, we had a very lovely, it was a meditation group there in Reno, and we had a very lovely chapel which seated all of us. Probably it was a converted garage or something. And so we were meditating away, and then it came time to go to one of these events. I think in this instance it was a television program, and we were going to be, myself included, hard to believe at the time, we were going to be demonstrating yoga postures. And I was shaking like a leaf, thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But happily, there were a couple of other monks who were just as nervous as I was. And Swami Kriyananda introduced us as, this is Brahmachari Haridas, and this is Brahmachari. And I thought, Brahmachari, I hadn't heard that either coming from him. So everything was new, though we were monks at that particular time period. So we were meditating, and it was time to go. And so I came out, and after a little bit of time, I forget, 15, 20 minutes perhaps, we had a little bit of breakfast. Swami Kriyananda said, where's Narayan? And Narayan was the only acharya that we had at the time, along with Nayaswami Jyotish. And he was a very gifted speaker, and he was going to be one of the presenters in the program. And I said, Swami, he's still meditating. He said, well, go get him. And I thought, oh my gosh, we've been taught, don't disturb anyone when they're meditating. And it's something, I feel, very much to this day. And I thought, well, he's asked me to go, and so I'll do what I can. So I went in, and I was just thinking, oh my God, he's going to kill me. I went, oh, no response. And I thought, oh my gosh, now what do I do? Tap his shoulder or something? And I didn't want to do that. So, no response. So I did this a few times, not too many times, and it wasn't real loud, soft enough to, help him hopefully understand that I didn't want to disturb him, but we have to go. So I went out and I said to Swami, Swami, he's not budging. And I thought Swami was going to send, maybe I was going to drag him out this time. I didn't know. And what did Swami say? Very impressive. I thought, my gosh, how interesting. And I continue to meditate on that to this day, because of course meditation is emphasized, but so is seva. And it's always changing, because there are those times when we're meditating and duty calls and we feel from within that we need to go and serve. But in this instance, his response was very impressive. And we left without him, which really, really surprised me, because this was one of the principles. And what were we going to do? Of course, we had Swami, so all was well. On the other hand, another tour, and it was during that same time period in the early 70s, we were, what was it? We were in Los Angeles, that's right. And we were recording albums, and we were not sleeping much, because we would record until 1 in the morning, then we'd wake up at 5 in the morning, and we would roar off and take part in our various duties. And at that time, I was reflecting that he had told me, he had said that it was very impressive that Narayan was meditating, and now we're buried meditating, we're running around serving. What is this? And I'm very happy that I practiced self-control at that time, because I was going to say to Swami, how about the balanced path? And I thought, I'm so new at this. Probably I should refrain from mentioning this, and I'm glad to this day that I did, because I had no idea what he would have said. If he's going to say very impressive, maybe he was going to scold me. I thought, okay, I don't understand. But the importance, as we are seeking the light, is that we become more and more detached. The shadow glorifies the light. And the more that we can take that to heart, the more we will find that we don't have to spend endless amounts of energy resisting our roles, resisting the current chapters that we have in life. Resistance is something that we want to overcome, obviously, as yogis. And as we are seeking the light, and as we're seeking God, and we're seeking the presence of God, the more that we can be detached and just ask ourselves, as we like to say, what is trying to happen here? It's a very, very, very good question to ask. At any time during the day, what's trying to happen here? Because the light and the blessings of God and the blessings of Guru, they're wanting to use us as instruments. There can be a mindset that I'm not, that advanced, and so, why would God choose me when He can flow uninterruptedly through Babaji, which of course He can. They've merged as one, and all the other great saints. And so, if we don't look out, we can put ourselves to the side and say, well, when I'm more advanced, then fine, then I can be an instrument for the light. But remember when one of the disciples came up to Yogananda, and Yogananda was giving him a task that was a little daunting and a little bit beyond perhaps what he thought he was able to do. And the fellow said, well, Master, you're a master, you can do it. And Master very strongly said, what do you think made me a master? It was by doing. This poor disciple had to, shrink away and lick his wounds and find a way. Perhaps it was through right attitude, through perhaps it was meditating more deeply on the blessings of the Guru, that he was able to get out of the way sufficiently so that God and the great ones could use him as an instrument. Gyainamata, Yogananda's most advanced woman disciple, gave very wise counsel. And one of the things that she mentioned was we should always pray to the Guru, that he prays for us, and that he should never give up his job about us. And I think too, when we're thinking in terms of being instruments for the light and for spirit, that we think, well, I just can't be bothering God all the time. He has such a vast responsibility in his infinite nature, in keeping everything going. As Lahiri Mahashaya, as we read in the autobiography of Yogi, at one point there he was in Benares, and he cried out, "I'm drowning in all these bodies in Japan." And he could have kept that to himself, but for whatever reason, this was perhaps with that group of disciples that were sitting before him, this was something that they needed to hear, perhaps to, again, give them the confidence that he was an omnipresent master. He's drowning in these souls, these great ones, as Yogananda said to Swami Kriyananda at one point, if you only knew my consciousness. And so we have come down from this infinite light, from this infinite joy, and we're trying to reclaim again our divine awareness. And so it's really quite a balance. And I must say, now in my later years, where it's very appropriate always for us to introspect, but I'm finding myself now in my mid-60s, introspecting a little bit more than ever about how one can keep motivated and keep that yearning and so forth, when on another level we can't help but smile in our hearts that we're already there. And it's very tricky, and if we don't look out, there can be a little bit of gear grinding, because if we're already there, where does the need for striving come in? And yet at the same time, to be real with ourselves on a human level, yes, we need to continue to strive. When we were up in Delhi getting our employment visa, we were in a very interesting place, because unlike previous experiences with the FRO, there's lots of curveballs and lots of surprises, but basically they give you a tract. And you just go from point A to point B and move along with a little bit of confidence, perhaps. This time, everything's automated. So just upload it and then wait. And you think, upload and wait. Okay, fine, if it's waiting for a day. But if it's upload and wait, as we've experienced in previous experiences there, because of course it's an annual pilgrimage, we call it our FRO holiday, the waiting can be a bit much. But I found that it was good spiritually, because one needed to sharpen one's intuition, because if you bother them, because they didn't want to be bothered. This is all new for us now, my friends. Don't come to the office. Don't call. Don't email. Wait. But when we talked to Diana, she waited a month and nothing came. And she had to go to the U.S. with a couple of hours before her paper expired, her employment visa. She said it was really nerve-wracking. So we thought, well, maybe we should, see if we can do a little bit better. And so what we did was we had Amit call. And they said, don't call, we'll call. We'll call you. But you can send an email. So he sent an email. And so nothing happened. And then he, great champion as he is, he banged on their door. And who did he find? He found a fellow that had been here from the FRO the previous year in Delhi. And when he was inspecting, because part of the whole process is an inspection of residency, proof of residency, he wasn't interested in the big stack of papers. He just wanted to buy our books. That was it. And Amit would say, please, here's the papers. He gave it to him 3 times, and the guy wasn't interested. He just wanted to buy more books and then finally left. That was last year. This year, it was the same fellow. And it said, hi, how are you doing? Want to come over and do the proof? Oh, no, that's all right. It's fine. And we jumped on the next plane and we were gone before he changed his mind to get back to all of you here in Bangalore. And my point being in sharing these endless FRO stories is that I have found that these experiences, and this being one, is so good for just getting out of the way, working on right attitude, trying to be an instrument for the light. Patience is a shortcut for finding God, so waiting for the FRO to respond. That too can be an exercise. So as the light, as the shadow glorifies the light, we can use as raw material, as we do, but more and more, every single day, to coax that light out. Through our thoughts, through our feelings, through one another, through our environment. It was very hot in Delhi. And so that was also very good to work on right attitude, because we were thinking of Bangalore so often, all of you, of course, but of the weather. We'd go outside and we'd be hit with this tremendous heat, and we'd be staggering around just to, go a few blocks to run an errand or two. And again, as we use this world, this Maya, as our raw material, we start to see that the perfect God, perfect Divine Mother, the perfect Gurus, they make no mistakes. And they are constantly coaxing us to rise to the occasion. And that is what it's all about. And so as we spend more time introspecting, as we spend more time in meditation, as we spend more time in seva, there needs to be this combination of growing confidence that we, hopefully this lifetime, will merge back into the light. And then at the same time, this endless, infinite patience that let God come when he wants to, because that will be the right time. And that's something too, now in my later years, I've been meditating on quite a bit and doing my very best to embrace. He will come at the right time. At the right time. We don't know what that means. Because with God taking half of our karma and Guru coming along and saying, well, that's pretty good, but let me take another 25%, 75% is done with our karma, but that 25% remains. Will God come to us tomorrow and the Gurus come to us tomorrow and say, you know something, we've decided to up the percentage. And now God's going to take 75% and the Guru is going to take 24% and you only have 1% left. So one more meditation and you are out of here. We don't know. With the grace of God, we know that self-effort draws grace. Certainly, we have to continue on, but we don't know. We have no idea, because this Leela is so potent with the plots and the subplots and the subplots and more and more and more and more. It's quite amazing that God, with His infinite power, has created such an enormously effective cosmic hypnosis. But He has. How can it be when we look and we see these great ones that we know that we too are that, and then we shake our head and still we're caught? And we think of right thought, and we read the scriptures and all of these things, and yet we find that we're still caught. Well, what are we going to do about it? And that's why I love the great blessings that have come to us. I love these blessings more and more, because even though we still haven't quite arrived, there is so much encouragement, constant encouragement. And the more that we open ourselves up to this light and these blessings, we find that we're doing fine. I've been meditating quite a lot on all the effort it's taken us to get to this point where we're at the feet of the Guru. And so how much more effort is left for us to merge into the light? I think that there's not much left, because as Yogananda said, he remembers when he was a diamond. So we've been at it for a very long time. And if finally we're at the point, which we are, where we're able to recognize wakefulness, many people look at the saints and they don't know what they're looking at. They just think they're nice people. They don't realize the infinite joy and the infinite love that they have and that they're broadcasting continuously. And so we are at that point with the blessing of Kriya, and on it goes, that we have a shot at stepping into the light, perhaps in this next moment. I remember someone, and I don't know if it's true, but I've always thought that it was very interesting, and I'm happy to relate it now. There was this devotee, and he got from within, step to the right. And he stepped to the right, and he was liberated. I thought, my God, what was there? Some kind of a crystal down 2 miles down on the ground. Everything was in perfect alignment for him. All he needed to do was step to the right. And finally, his lifelong goal, which is, of course, all of our lifelong goal, was achieved. So we have to stay alert. We have to stay awake and ready, because we don't know. One more thought, good thought, one more expansive feeling of the heart, one more holding on to the feet of the Guru, and it might well be, just like this fellow, step to the right. Because one of these fine moments, that's exactly what it's going to. That's exactly what's going to happen. And so, think of yourself as light. And when the Maya comes in the form of shadow and gives us tests and so forth, just say that's okay. The shadow glorifies the light. The shadow, this Maya, is pushing me ever more to the realization of who I really am. So, needless to say, we have so many friends in Delhi, and it was great to see them. But boy, it was great to get back. And my visualization is fabulous, was we're on the plane and we're heading back to Bangalore. So all the time we were in Delhi, as much as we were enjoying seeing everyone, and we were, really, they were so gracious and so sweet. They were teasing us and saying, we're thinking maybe that you could wait for the month like Dhyana did and give more satsangs. And we thought, listen guys, are you our friends? You're supposed to be praying that we get on that plane. We've got things to do. We've got to get back home. And so we had lots of laughter and jokes and humor around that dance, because again, whenever you're with spiritual family, it is a joy. So, God bless you.